Hi, I'm Vanessa Razzo. I'm part of the worldwide SMB marketing team, and I'm focused on digital marketing, so driving website traffic and leads to partners, and extending out this information to you through SEO or search engine optimization, how we can actually build our website traffic and drive in more leads from SMB. So today I'm talking about SEO 201. Prior I had talked about how to get started and 101. The next step is how to bring that together to optimize and bring in multiple digital channels as part of your strategy. So now you're familiar with all of the basics and understand really what goes into the basic building blocks of SEO performance for your site. It's really time to look in terms of how we can scale and optimize this success. So again, SEO 101, it covered how SEO works, some of the technical web design best practices, how you can make sure you're being relevant within the copy and the content on the site, and how to start building links. So we have popularity signals as part of the search engine crawler. For Search Engine Optimization 201, what we're going to dive into is some analysis, so how you can take a look at your competitors and your visibility online to really optimize your strategy, and how to build that into your content and optimize ongoing, making sure that you've got all the elements firing within your templates, and making sure that you've got an ongoing link building strategy as part of that. So in terms of the SEO analysis, this is really where you should get started in terms of knowing where to hone in and optimize your search engine optimization efforts as part of that. So it's really looking to see, are you visible in terms of the keywords that you're targeting and going after? And where do you rank in terms of comparison to competitors for these keywords, so that you're showing up at the top of the search engine result page and that SMB can find you and get the help they need from partners ongoing. So in terms of visibility analysis, there's a number of different tools that you could use. From a Microsoft perspective, we use BrightEdge. It's a really helpful keyword tool. It helps you monitor your content over time. It shows you different ranking changes. Again, I had covered that Google and Bing actually change their algorithm in terms of search every single day. So it's important to monitor your content, make sure you're being relevant for the types of traffic that you're going after, and making sure that you're ranking well against your competition. What BrightEdge will do is give you visibility into this. So rather than looking into it manually, it can actually track specific keywords over time and show you where exactly you need to focus your efforts. Another helpful insight that BrightEdge provides is a share of voice analysis. So it really shows you who has the authority for a certain topic in comparison to your site. So really showing who your competition is, who's actually generating the most traffic from their search engine optimization efforts. And it can really help you benchmark in terms of where you compare in terms of that online share of voice. What this is helpful for is actually doing a competitive analysis. So showing exactly where you rank in terms of organic search as part of that. What are some of the opportunity topics, or where you need to actually expand your content efforts, and narrowing in on potential keyword gaps of areas that you're not covering to actually bring in that relevant traffic ongoing. And then also seeing who has that domain and page authority. So who is actually ranking the highest for certain terms when SMBs search for information and search for IT help online. In terms of your content strategy, this is really where you bring in all of the analysis and all of your keyword strategy into relevant content for SMB. Again, I had mentioned before, you're really writing content for two audiences. You're writing for your SMB audience, where you need to be entertaining, helpful, educational. You need to make sure the content's transactional, but then you're also writing toward the search engine crawlers. So the technical aspect of the crawl and the algorithms from a search perspective, so they can crawl your site and be able to understand exactly what the topics are relevant for. So in terms of your content strategy, the bottom line is understanding what your customers are looking for and just delivering this content in a very compelling way through your branded content, through your product-specific content, making sure that you are providing helpful information as part of that, and also interactive, so using all of the different digital types of content such as blogs, videos, infographics, making sure that it's engaging as part of that experience. Really good, high-quality content as part of that makes actually your page more shareable. So what's really important recently is social. So social really gives that popularity indication, which helps you actually rank higher on your page. So it really brings and builds that traffic just in an organic way if your content is able to be shared online through social channels. In terms of your new content and what you should really focus on, there's a lot of great research you can do to really focus on certain hot topics. So SMBs actually vote with their clicks and they vote with what they search for online, and they can really help you understand that from a content editorial strategy. So knowing what SMBs are talking about and how to actually make sure your business is relevant to what they're searching for. So what this does, it hones in, so go ahead and take a look at your analysis. It tells you exactly what types of keywords your traffic is coming in for, bringing in that competitive analysis as part of that, and making sure that you're aligning your keywords according to how they search and making sure that they're super relevant. So again, I've got some really good resources for you from before that show you exactly how to do that through your SEO 101. And then making sure that you're monitoring that performance over time. So making sure that your conversion metrics are optimized. So making sure that the traffic you're bringing into the site actually has a really good site experience and customer journey. Making sure that you are converting in terms of either capturing a lead or making sure they're downloading content over time. The metrics really show you exactly how that site performance is working over time. So in terms of types of content, again, different types of digital content make it more interactive, and different people like to interact in different ways. They like to consume content different ways as part of that. So this includes either videos, images, making sure you've got PDFs or white papers someone could actually download and reference later. Blogging is super important in terms of making sure that your content is really timely and up to date. Also from a search perspective, bringing in news articles and press releases, making sure you have frequently asked questions and answers, and then also customer reviews and ratings. So making sure that you're checking all the boxes in terms of the different types of content and how people like to consume. And also considering possible user-generated content. So getting your audience involved in creating that content and making sure that you're extending that engagement out. In terms of video content, there's a lot of really great ways you can optimize this content to make sure that it can be crawled from a search engine perspective. So some best practices and helpful hints is making sure you've got a video landing page rather than a pop-up. A lot of times the crawlers cannot crawl a pop-up, so they can't identify this type of content that could make it really relevant from a ranking perspective. Making sure you've got the basics in there from an optimization standpoint, such as H1 tags and metadata tags in your titles, making sure that it's able to be played across devices, making sure you've got descriptive file names as part of that, and a way to be able to archive and have a library across all of your videos, and then a transcript where possible as part of that. Essentially, your video needs to be optimized just like any other types of content across your site. So in terms of the schema markups on videos, again, you are creating content for your SMB audience from a customer perspective, but then also need to create content for the search engine crawlers. And part of that is the back-end code and the structured markup as part of that. And really, what it tells the crawlers is the relevancy of this type of video content. So making sure that the code is aligned. You can get help from your site manager in making sure this markup is available. But the location of the video, the title, the duration, the image, the URL, and the description really help the crawlers understand, hey, this is relevant, interesting content I should serve up when, for example, an SMB searches on a video on how to get started with cloud, for example. In terms of a video sitemap, this also is really helpful for the search engines to understand the type of content and be able to index it ongoing. So some helpful hints in terms of what this looks like. An XML sitemap, there's actually different tools online that can create this for you. And you can submit this directly to Google versus Google Webmaster Tools as well as Bing. And what this does is it is archived, it shows exactly what the content is and points to what is relevant and important as part of that. So if you don't have one, ask your site manager to help, and it can be easily actually added directly to the Webmaster Tools as part of that. PDF content. So consider having friendly URLs in your PDF. So again, thinking through that URL strategy as part of your content. PDF is just another type of content that should be folded into content strategy, which is covered in SEO 101. Making sure that all the metadata is there, the basic building blocks, and then making sure that you have the ability to write protect the document. So making sure if it's shared across, then it's shared in a relevant way ongoing. And then also, always really helpful is consider using links as anchor text. So basically using links as the most important type of keyword content that you want to be able to rank for. So in terms of your templates, this is another area to really hone in on in terms of boosting your search engine optimization. What it does is it maximizes your relevancy. So really it's taking a look at common page elements across similar pages as part of that, to making sure that everything is working correctly across your web architecture, whether it's your internal links and your navigation. So pointing to the right, most relevant content for a search engine to actually send somebody when they're searching for information. So really, what can help out is a content management system, or CMS. So what this does is it gives the ability to easily provide some of this metadata that is important in terms of search. As part of that, having more control over your URL structure, which again is a big indication for SEO, making sure you can add social buttons and adding all of your analytic codes and tagging. It makes it a lot easier to deploy content more frequently in a more relevant way. In terms of your content elements, they're, again, just a reminder around your title tags. These are some basic building blocks in terms of making sure that your content can be crawled and ranked from a search perspective. Making sure you've got the meta description tag and also the keyword tag as part of that. So you want to make sure that you've got a handful of keywords that are really directly relevant to that page content. So you might have one critical keyword, such as cloud, and then have a number of different ways it could be phrased throughout your content, like cloud assessment or getting started with cloud or cloud and mobility. So making sure you're thinking through all the different ways that a potential customer could search for your site. In terms of the content elements, again, there's the header or H1 tag and H2 tag. Your site manager can help you through exactly the placement around this piece, but the thought is really to be able to embed all of that content and keywords into the back-end data. So you've got the content on the front end in terms of that user experience, but you also have keywords as part of that back-end crawling experience as part of that. If there's any images, it's really important to make sure you've got that alt text as part of that, so a crawler knows exactly what type of content is involved, as well as your body copy. Ensuring you've got at least 200 words or greater as part of that content within that component of the body copy. A search engine is not in the business of sending potential traffic or visitors to site with light information or not enough information. They want to send someone to the most relevant, most engaging, most educational content as possible. So need to make sure that we've got enough of that content as part of that site experience. And then in terms of having structured data, so you've got tags across the various elements of your site. So another way to really get started in boosting your traffic is thinking beyond just traditional link tactics as part of your link building strategy. So a really great way to build traffic and build popularity to your site is getting links to point to it. So really This is about going after what else is very relevant in terms of high quality sites that are aligned to your industry or business, and making sure that you've got a linking strategy to encourage them to link to your site as part of that process. What it does is a popularity signal for the search engines. It also builds your domain strength. But also keep in mind that with some new algorithm changes, such as the Google's Penguin update, it's really looking to make sure that we're just not trying to link to generic sites. It's got to be relevant as part of that process. So a few helpful hints is taking a look at different blogs. So this is a good way to be able to attract some links as part of that. The different blog posts, what's really helpful about that is it's fresh content. And again, search engines love to rank content that's the most recent and the most relevant as part of that. So it's an easy way to really boost your ranking. Social media, again, the more engagement that happens when there's posting updates, when there's content shared, videos shared as part of that, what that does is it gives a popularity signal to the search engines, and it really helps boost the ranking, especially if it's specific within influencer channels. So if there's a social media site or blog site that has high authority ongoing, if they're linking or sharing content from your site, that really can help boost your ranking as part of that. Infographics are another really great way to build links as part of that. So acquiring different linking through infographics, and the more that's shared across multiple channels will help boost your traffic. And then making sure that any press releases is also optimized. So many utilize press releases as part of their ongoing news on their site, but making sure that this content is optimized as well as any type of other content that's shared online can really help boost your ranking as well. Surveys and polls are great in terms of getting that engagement and that interactivity, but then also can give a signal around the most relevancy within a certain industry, product, or service. So it's something that can really get the interest going within your audience, but then it also can create search engine optimization through the content sharing and the results as part of that. And then in terms of linking, you can also just request from different types of sites. So everyone has a webmaster or site manager as part of the process. A good way to look is to see exactly where your competition is linking to, the different types of sites that have high interest, high traffic, a lot of shareable content, and then requesting, if possible, that they link to your site is a good way to start building your relationships and also your linking as part of your traffic building efforts. So with that covers SEO 201. Again, we covered SEO 101 in terms of some basic content building. 201 is all about analytics and optimization and different content types and link building. We're also going to be covering SEO 301 as part of that process. So thanks so much for joining. We'll talk again soon.